Joining me right now to get ahead of all of this is Andersen Capital Management's Chief Investment Officer, Peter Andersen. Peter, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning. This, of course, is the final inflation report before we hear from the Federal Reserve tomorrow. What are you expecting from the inflation numbers? And what about that two-day Fed meeting where most expect a pause in the rate hikes?
I think the number will come in great to our satisfaction. Remember, Maria, and you've been saying this on your program, 10 hikes, only 3 have seasoned to be a year old. So already we're seeing the results of 3 hikes, which just total to be 150 basis points. So if my math is right, we've got 7 more to bake in, which total 350 basis points. So if the Fed is smart, they will be looking at this number today and saying, even if it is a little bit disappointing to them, have some patience. We're not even halfway through this cycle of the hikes. And so we have to be a little bit more patient. However, I do think even just the 3 hikes that have been now a year old have done enough work that we're actually seeing some results. So can you imagine what it will be like, frankly, 7 hikes from now? I think things will look very, very good, and I think the market is anticipating some good results today.
So you're saying that after 10 rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, we still have yet to feel the true overall impact on the economy. Look, it's day one of the Fed's meeting today. It's got a 2-day meeting, which is being kicked off this morning at 9 a.m. And many people, for the reasons that you cite, are expecting a pause in rate hikes. We'll get that decision Wednesday about 2 o'clock. But we're also awaiting rate decisions from the European Central Bank on Thursday. The Bank of Japan is meeting this week. We'll get their decision on Friday as well, Peter. So if you're looking at a slowing U.S. economy, I guess the next question is how much weaker can it get, given the fact that you believe we have not felt the true impact of all of these hikes?
Absolutely. I do worry about that, because look at some of the stress that the banks have been under. And I claim that that's only the result of these 3 hikes. So we do have to be careful to make certain that, and I'm hoping the Fed is looking at this the same way, to say, look, we're not even halfway through this. So it is a concern of mine that maybe they have over-tightened. And it's so easy for the market to forget that all these hikes have been done and we're forward-looking, et cetera. But in this case, I think it's very important to be backward-looking and say, look, these hikes have still not have not manifested themselves the way that most of us think they have already.
Yeah, which is what has sparked this conversation on recession, severe recession, no recession. We're still trying to understand how severe this impact will be. I'm with Liz Pick this morning. Liz, jump in.
Good morning, Peter. Thanks for being here. So you sound pretty cautious about the impact of all this rate hiking, and I would agree with that. What are you thinking about the economy going forward? Because we've had a pretty big rally in the markets, which sort of signal optimism that there won't be much of a downturn. What are you seeing?
Well, I am optimistic, believe it or not, but not across all sectors. So, for instance, in artificial intelligence and technology, I do think, regardless, Liz, of what the outcome is as a result of all these hikes, there are certain industries that I think will be very, very robust against any kind of negative news out there. So going forward, I think that there are other sectors, too, that maybe you want to stay away from if you do anticipate a recession, although that does seem to be getting the likelihood of a recession seems to be getting further and further away in the rearview mirror.
So you would still buy tech here then, Peter?
I would, Maria, because I do think that it is resilient. And, one thing about artificial intelligence that I was thinking about over the weekend is people are thinking that it's a brand new thing. Well, it's been with us for a long time. I think what's happening is we're just relabeling it as artificial intelligence. So the one thing I worry about with that is when the general public wakes up and says to themselves, oh, this has been around for a while, so it isn't something brand new. Maybe they'll be disappointed at the fact that it isn't a sudden release. I think Chat GPT is the issue that brought to everybody's attention that there is AI out there. But if you look at history, we have been on a slowly increasing path to improving technology anyway. but Chat GPT kind of brought it into the forefront right now.
All right, we'll leave it there. Peter, good to catch up. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Peter Andersen joining us. Good morning.